Welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, we're going to be making the Necessary Clutch Wallet by Emmaline Bags. It is a wallet that closes with a magnetic snap, or you could also use a turn lock here. When you open it, there is one zippered pocket, as well as 12 card slots, 6 on each side, and 2 cash slots. I do go over how to make the card slots in a modified way, so it does deviate from the pattern slightly, but I will give you all of the instructions on how I do it. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial. If you like it, please give it a like and subscribe and follow along. For today's tutorial, I'm going to be going a little bit out of order, and it's going to be slightly different. So for the pattern as written, she does give a long piece that you would use to fold up several times and make your card slots. This is going to be slightly different. So you'll start by cutting 3 pieces, and this would work for waterproof canvas. It may not work for cotton because there would be raw folded over edges, but you could definitely give it a shot. So these instructions are for waterproof canvas. You're going to cut 3 pieces. The first one will be 6 by 8. The second will be 7 by 8. And the third will be 8 by 8. Then on the back of them, you're going to draw a line 1 inch down from the 8-inch edge on all of them. You'll fold it over to that line, and then each of your pieces should be finished size 7 by 8, 6 by 8, and 5 by 8. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll show you. This is the 8-inch side. I'm going to fold it down to meet the line that I drew 1 inch away. So you're giving it a 1/2 of an inch fold over. Do that on all the pieces that you have cut, all 3 pieces. Once you have all 3 pieces with the edge folded over, again, their final size should be 7 by 8, and the 8-inch side is going to be the folded side on every one of them. 6 by 8 and 5 by 8. So then what you're going to do is you're going to top stitch along each folded edge at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance on all 3 pieces. Now that all of your top pieces are top stitched, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure in 2 inches from each top stitched edge and draw a line with an erasable tool. So I'm going to use chalk just because it wipes away pretty easily. So 2 inches in on each side for each panel. Now that you have your 2-inch lines drawn from each folded edge, the next thing you'll do is take one of your card slot backing pieces, and this is cut to the same exact size as indicated in the pattern. So you will take that, and I have snipped my centers on the sides of it already, and you will match up the centers on the largest of your card slots, so the 7 by 8 one. So match up these centers here and clip that together. Now you're going to attach them by sewing down the 2-inch line that you just drew. Once you have that stitched down, you're going to take the next one in line, which is your 6 by 8 piece, and again match up your center marks just like you did with the last one. Clip that in place. And then once again, you will stitch right down these 2-inch lines that you drew away from the top stitched pieces. And you'll be stitching all 3 pieces together this time. And now you're going to repeat that with the smallest one, which is the 5 by 8 piece. So we're going to do the same exact thing, match up the centers, and stitch down the 2-inch line that you drew previously. Now that I have all of my card slots attached, I will baste 1/8 of an inch away from the edge where everything is raw. And this is just going to keep my card slots where they need to be while I do the rest of the construction. It's not required, you don't have to do it, but I do like to. I think it keeps my card slots looking neater, straighter, and just makes everything easier. Now that your card slot sides are basted in place, fold everything in half and find the centers of this completed piece. Then I'm going to draw a line down the center with my chalk, just matching up these center marks. And then go ahead and stitch all the way down the center of this piece right along your chalk line. And that's going to create all of your card slots. They will all be separate now. I'm just going to change my bobbin. Maybe. Actually, there's enough. And when I'm doing this, I do like to backstitch at the top of every card slot. So at the seam allowance that was folded over and top stitched, I like to make sure I backstitch a couple of times in that spot, because with the in and out of the cards, that piece is going to get a lot of wear and tear. So I want it to stay sewn together as long as possible. And your card slots are almost completed. So at this point, I am going to grab some cards, just test everything out, make sure that the cards fit, and then we will put the backing on it. So everything fits nicely. If you can tell, everything is even, so this is great. And just a little side note, the cards that I use here, I actually keep all of the credit card offers that come in the mail. I keep the little cardboard cards for exactly this purpose. So if you don't do that and you get them in the mail often, keep them and use them for this. Now that you've tested all of your card slots and you know everything works, you will take your other card slot backing piece and you will lay everything right sides together and sew at 1/4 of an inch along the top and the bottom piece. Now you can go ahead and turn everything right side out. Give everything a really good press. And then we will be top stitching 1/8 of an inch away from each seam that you just created. I want bobbin chicken. And then once you have that done, I'm also going to close this up by basting along the edges here. So your card slots are all completed. So now I'm going to put these to the side and I'll start working on the main body for the wallet. For the main body, you're going to have one exterior main body piece and one interior main body piece. And then I'm also going to have 2 flap pieces. Mine are directional, so when they are directional, make sure that the front is going to be facing up and that the back will be cut upside down so that when they are right sides together, this will be your front, and when you flip it up, this will be your back. Or skip directional fabric because it'll make your life easier. So first I'm going to install my magnetic snap. I just copied the mark from the pattern piece, so I'm going to do that now. Once my snap is on, I like to cover it with a piece of duct tape just to keep the prongs from rubbing up against the backing of my other side of the flap, just so it doesn't wear through the material ever. And the magnetic snap is installed. I'm going to place the two flat pieces right sides together, and I'm going to sew together at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance along all three edges here, but not across a straight edge at the top. Now that you've sewn it together at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, I'm going to trim down the curves with pinking shears, just so that it'll lay nicely when I turn it right side out. Now that you have everything turned right side out and you've rolled all your seams, you can go ahead and close this up at the top with a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, and then I'm also going to top stitch all the way around the rest of the flap as well. Once you have your flap completed and you've done all of your top stitching, then you are going to match it up with one of your center marks on the long part of your main body exterior panel. Right now I don't have my snap installed or my bag tag, so it doesn't matter which side. And you're going to do that right sides together. So the snap should be facing up, and then the outside of the flap should be facing the exterior of your main body panel. Clip that together and baste that at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Once you have your flap basted on with the lining side facing up again, so your snap should be facing up, you'll go ahead and take your lining piece and place this all right sides together, clip all the way around it, and then you're going to also stitch all the way around it at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. In the pattern, she does have you leave a turning hole. I like to do mine a little bit differently, where I don't need to leave a hole to turn on the edges, but instead we'll cut a hole down the center later that won't be seen, so I'll show you that. Now you should have this. It should be sewn all the way around. Then I'm going to pinch to separate my lining and my exterior fabric. And towards the center, I'm going to make a small snip in the lining only. So just like that. Now that you know you have just your lining, I'm going to cut over no more than 3 inches in each direction. And that will be your hole to turn your main body panel. I will also want to snip my edges. I'm going to actually just put little snips up to the seam allowance in just the curves to help it lay flat so I can top stitch it around once we've turned it.
Here I'm just feeling where the flap is and making the hole a little bit bigger, making sure I don't go past the width of the flap so I can turn it easier.
Once you're turning it out, make sure that you're pulling out your seam. Everything is nice and flat and that it looks nice and round. Give a little tug to the flap. Now I will top stitch all the way around the main body panel. For this one, I am going to change just my bobbin thread. I want it to match just a little bit better. The black will really stand out against this light blue. I made my card slots with a pale gray thread, so I'm going to use that same color in my bobbin so that it looks uniform on the lining piece here. So I'm going to do that, and then I will stitch around the edges. And when I start my top stitching, I like to start on one of the side curves because that will be folded in, and that means my back stitching won't ever be seen. So that's where I like to start. Okay, so my top stitching is done. Now I'm going to install my magnetic snap, the other half of it, as well as my nameplate. And for that, I'm just going to fold everything the way that it will be in the end, but not stitch, so that I can make some marks on the outside for where I want to install my magnetic snap as well as my nameplate. And to do that, to fold it correctly, I am going to use my card slot panel piece. And I'm just going to fold the wings around it. Again, not stitching, just folding temporary, so I can get a good idea of how everything will fit at the end and where I want to place my snaps and my bag tag. Now that I have my marking for my snap where I want it, I'm gonna put this center washer, the washer over the center dot that I drew, and draw my 2 lines to install the snap. So I can go ahead and unclip everything. Take out the card slots. And I'm gonna hold my hand in here around the slits that I made so that I only cut through my exterior. Don't cut your hand. Please hold your hand far enough away from the slits that you are cutting to not cut yourself. Okay. Now I'm gonna install the other half of my snap. And I am going to put some duct tape over this to keep it, protect my material from the metal prongs. I'm going to place my card slots back in one more time. Now I'm going to mark on the back where I want my bag tag to go. It is completely personal preference on where you choose to install your bag tag. You have a washer. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with my snap, and I'm going to cut the holes that I just drew carefully without cutting yourself or the lining. Install my washer, and then I will place a piece of duct tape over this one as well. And I went about an inch down from the top stitching, centered-ish. Good enough. is facing right side up. Okay. Okay. Once your main body is completed, next you will want to work on your zipper pocket. Mine is going to be unlined because it is waterproof canvas. So first I'm going to install my zipper pull. And then I have two zipper tabs. They each have a line drawn down the center with some double-sided tape. So I'm going to take the tape off of one tab on one side. So it should look like this. You'll still have tape on the bottom half. Going to lie that down on my table, tape side up, and place my zipper. Actually, I'm going to melt my ends real quick. Okay, now I'll take my zipper, place it right side up, meet up with the line. I will remove the paper for the rest of the double-sided tape and fold that over. And I'm going to repeat for the other side. Once you have your zipper tabs on, you can go ahead and stitch 1/8 of an inch away from the raw edge. Once you have these stitched on, I'm going to just trim off the edges of the tabs to make it even with the zipper tape. Okay. Now I'm going to take one of my zipper panel pieces and lay it right side up. Remove the tape from the paper from the double-sided tape. I'm going to find the centers of my zipper. And lay this right sides together with my zipper pull closing to the left. And I will stitch that down with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'll fold my zipper up and press down. And then I'm going to top stitch this here at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then I'll repeat that for the other pocket panel. Okay, so this is what you should have when you're done. I'm going to move my zipper to the center. I'm going to bring everything right sides together. And I'm going to clip all around the zipper pocket panel. Now I will start up here and I will go all the way around the pocket and stitch at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Once you have that all stitched, I'm going to trim my corners of the pocket just so that when I turn it, it sits a little bit better. And then you can turn your zipper pocket through the zipper. Just making sure to poke out the corners as best I can on here. Once you have everything the way that you like it, you can top stitch all around these 3 edges that you just sewed. All right, now that you have your zipper pocket panel completed, I'm going to start adding some double-sided tape. This should be slightly narrower and shorter, so just smaller in general than your card slot panel. That is okay. So to the back of your card slot panel, along the raw edges, I'm going to add 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape. Remove the paper backing off of the tape. And then center this on your main body lining. Then I'm going to find the center of my zipper panel. And I'll do the same thing. I'm going to place a piece of 1/4 inch tape down the center of my zipper pocket. And now I'm going to center it as well. And this is what you should have. From here, I will take my 1 inch wide ruler and I'm going to line the 1/2 inch marks up with my center snips that I have on my card slots. And where'd my chalk pen go? I'm going to line the 1/2 inch marks up with these center snips I have from my card slots. And I'm going to make a mark on either side of my 1 inch wide ruler. So you should have this here. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to also make another line that is, hold on, just kidding. Let's back up. Once you have your card slots taped down, now you can fold your wings over and clip that in place. Make sure you have a really nice straight fold. And do that on both sides. Once you have this all clipped in, you can sew down each side at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I like to sew from the outside just so I can see my stitching and be sure that I'm keeping everything straight and nice. I'm going to repeat the same thing with the other side. And this is what you should have. So your card slots are completely sewn in now on the sides. Then you will take your zipper panel pocket and line this up. Center it as best you can. I'm going to grab my 1x6 ruler and place it in the center. And then I'm going to draw a chalk line around the whole thing. I know that's probably hard to see, but that's what you should have. There is a 1x6-inch box drawn right in the center, and we're going to stitch around that. All right, we're going to stitch all the way around this 1x6 box, and that's also going to close up the hole that we cut in the lining earlier to turn our wallet through. Now if you reach in, this is completely closed. You can't even see the cut that we made in our wallet's lining earlier, just so you know. And then all of your card slots are still accessible. You can try them again if you want to just double check, make sure everything still fits nicely. And they definitely do. So we did a good job centering it. That's what that means. From here, I'm going to move the zipper to the center. And at this point, you are just going to wrap your side wings around the zipper panel to complete this. There are some dimensions in the pattern. Never have very good luck with them. We can give it a shot. Once you have these markings drawn, then you're going to pick up your zipper panel and line the edges of it up with the marking you drew and pinch the exterior around it and clip. You're going to do that for all 4 lines that you just drew. Once you have everything clipped the way that you like it, you can either stitch down these folds that you've got here, or you could rivet through them if your machine can't handle them. Or if your machine can handle them, but you can't necessarily get everything in there. Normally, I will rivet them, but I am going to give it a shot sewing them today. See how that goes. Okay. So to sew these down, I'm going to really have to bend things out of the way, but that's okay. And you'll go as far down as you can get. Which is about 3/4 of the way for me. I think that should be good. We'll give it a tug and make sure. Perfect. So I'm going to repeat that for all the other 3 pieces. Once you have your sides sewn, your wallet is done. I'm just going to press everything and help it get its shape a little easier. Clip everything together. And you are done. I hope this video was helpful, and if you enjoyed it, give it a like and please subscribe.